Alright guys, this video is to showcase off my double pet mag Sorc build. Purpose of this video is just to help a couple of guildies learning to do DPS, or basically anybody who's new to DPS or struggling to hit higher numbers. If you're trying to get on a trials team, things like that. This, just a basic disclaimer, this is not the hardest hitting build out there. If you can Google or YouTube search other builds, some of them use different rotations or spammables, things of that nature, and they can hit much higher DPS. That's not really what the purpose of this video is for. I main healers, so I don't really have a set rotation, and struggled for the longest time finding a way to get into the DPS crowd. So had somebody take me under the wing, kind of show me the ropes here. So basically it's what I'm doing as well with this video, just kind of returning the favor, paying it forward, that kind of good stuff. Hopefully it'll help some others out there. So anyways, this is for a mag Sorc double pet build. As you can see here, here's my basic stat sheet. It's pretty much what you're going to be working with there. I don't have anything really going on other than Shadow Mundus, and then I have a couple of minutes left on my max health and magicka. You can do different, food buffs if you want, like the double Bloody Mara I think is best in slot now, I think. But I just use the cheap blue buy stat stuff. So whether it's Solitude, Salmon Malay, or whatever it is, or Parmesan Baked, Mammoth Pork, whatever the crap those things are called, those are pretty much the ones that I do. They're good enough for me and what I run. They're cheap and pretty pretty easily to obtain, so you can use those. They're good enough. You don't have to get the best stuff if you can't afford it or don't have the mats. Again, using this Shadow Mundus, so for right now. But anyways, let me just go ahead and start getting off on the build before my food wears off. You can see here, let me go over my inventory and we'll start with my gear. So all the gear here that I'm using on this particular build is basically geared with the intent that anybody can get it. These are overland sets. You can find it in Rivenspire or Deshawn, I believe. Mother Sorrow drops in Deshawn, I'm pretty sure. So you can see here I'm using a lightning staff on both bars. I have Zon, Heavy, have Necro for my body pieces, and then of course all of those are going to be light. And then a medium Zon for my shoulder. So I'm running the 5-1-1 setup as far as your armor goes. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, it basically is referring to 1 heavy, 1 medium, and 5 light pieces. So that way you get your passives for your Undaunted. Anyways, moving on down to the jewelry. I have Mother Sorrow again for the neck and rings. This kind of complements my staffs from earlier. As you can see, there's a full 5-piece set now. Good thing about these is with this build, you can just simply use how they drop. You don't have to have them gold, you don't have to transmute them to bloodthirsty or infused or anything. You just leave them arcane if you want. The only changes I made to the jewelry was that I changed the enchantment to spell damage. So if you don't have an enchanter or somebody that can make you that, just hop in the guild chat or zone chat somewhere. That should be pretty easy to come by. It doesn't have to be the Kuda. You can just use the purple Rekuda. It should be fine as well. That's what I've done here, so you should be able to get the same numbers and replicate the same kind of build using just relatively cheap materials if you don't have them already available. For my body pieces, again, it's going to be all max magicka and they're all divines. You can see that right there, all the way up. And then I'm just using infuse on both staffs. If you can't find infused staffs or whatever else, feel free to, obviously they're probably going to be better than like training or anything like that. But if you can only find garbage traits, feel free to pick up a cheap one, transmute it later, just so that way you can practice on the rotation. That's really what's more important, and the rest of it will kind of fall into place as you get transmutes and as you adjust your muscle memory to the rotation and things like that. So anyways, that's pretty much what you're working with there. We already talked about my character screen. Skills. So I'm on my primary. So a couple of these, well actually the majorities for this video are going to be double bars, so that means is they're going to be on both my front bar and my second bar. So for primary, I'm running the Volatile Familiar, Bound Aegis, which you don't really ever actually use. It's just slotted for the passive. The extra 8% Max Magicka is really nice on this. You could also use Inner Light if you want. It gives you a little bit of Max Magicka and I think Spell Crit. But since we're using Spell Potions, that really doesn't it doesn't stack, so it's kind of a wasted thing there. So really, Bound Aegis is probably going to give you a better bang for your buck there, because it's going to give you more Magicka than Inner Light. But anyways, moving on down to Circle, I have Twilight Tormentor. If you were trying to do certain content, you could also use the other morph, which I think heals if you proc it, so you can do that. This build is simply built for DPS. It's group content. If you're running, you should have a healer or something like that, so you really don't need that secondary healing morph. So I went with the damage morph. L1 is Shock Clinch, and R1 is Daedric Prey. Daedric Prey is really nice when you have it active. Your pets are going to do an extra 40% damage, so it's really important to try to keep that up at all times. Again, ultimate is double barred. You're going to have, I have a summon charged Atronach. This is probably one of your best single target DPS abilities. If you're actually running content, whether it be dungeons or trials or just questing or whatever else, you may want to use, like on your back bar where you have your AoEs, you may want to slot something like either Shooting Star or Elemental Ray. So I'm just going to give you a little bit more of the crowd control. But I just have the Atronach summoned. I'm sorry, I just have the Atronach slotted on both bars just for DPS. I'm sorry, again, just for the purpose of the video, so I don't have to swap bars to drop them. I'm lazy. Anyways, back onto my back bar. Again, you'll see square, triangle, and circle are the same things we went over a minute ago. Only difference is here, as a bar swap, as you can see those, the only thing changing is L1 and R1. So on the back bar, I have Liquid Lightning on R1 and Blockade on L1. So that's pretty much everything. Pretty simple. Shouldn't be too difficult for you guys to obtain those skills and level them up, morph them, all that kind of good stuff. But anyways, what you're going to want to do, let me move over here. I'm going to save that 3 mil for just a few minutes. I'm just going to kind of go over the basic concept of your rotation. So I'm using spell power pots. Make sure you use the right ingredients. I can't remember what they are. I think it's water. I know water hyacinth is one of them, but I can't remember the other two. But anyways, Google it, look it up. It's important because if you make the wrong ones, they won't have all the ingredients that you need. What you're going to want once you actually get the ingredients is for it to look like this. It's going to give you major sorcery, increase your spell damage. It's going to give you major prophecy, which is going to increase your spell crit. It's going to restore magicka, and it's also going to give you major intellect for your mag recovery. So make sure it has all 4 of those components on there. So that's what you're going to want to focus on there. So anyways, to start off your rotation, what you're going to want to do, go ahead and pulse your pets first, or start off with a potion. I'll start with potion. Pet 1 is a little familiar there. Pet 2 is this little bird. Go ahead and get them going. Drop your Atro over there to the side. Get into a habit of trying to drop it a little bit to the side. When you're running content, it kind of blocks the tank's view sometimes if you drop it right on the target. So just trying to get into a good habit of dropping them over to the side a little bit. Anyways, my potion's on cooldown, so let me readjust my pets. There we go. 1 and 2. Drop your Atro. Drop your Atro. There we go. Liquid Lightning. Light attack. Blockade of Storms. Light attack. Pet 1. Light attack. Pet 2. Light attack. And now bar swap. Once you're on your back bar, you're going to go, once you're back to your front bar, you'll hit Daedric Prey. And here you'll do a heavy attack. Followed by L1 is Shock Clinch. Once you've finished that rotation, swap back over to your front. Drop down Liquid Lightning again. Light attack. Reapply your lightning wall. Light attack. Pet 1. light attack, pet 2, light attack. There you go. Bar swap, spray, heavy attack, and clinch. Light attack. There you go. Having a little bit of trouble here with the light attacks propping. I don't know why. But let me go ahead and turn these guys off. Let's see, remove. Okay, so you should have a pretty basic concept of the rotation. You will use your potions and your ultimate on cooldown. And what that means is as soon as it's ready and recharged, you'll go ahead and use it again. So start off on your back bar. You're going to use a potion, drop your Iron Atro, Liquid Lightning R1, light attack, blockade with L1, light attack, pet 1, light attack, pet 2, light attack, bar swap, Daedric Prey, heavy attack, and then shot clinch, light attack, bar swap again, reapply liquid lightning with R1, light attack, L1 blockade, light attack, and then your pets, pet 1 light attack, pet 2 light attack, bar swap, pray, heavy attack, and shot clinch. And you just rinse and repeat. Again, using your potions and your ultimate on cooldown. So that's basically how you do this rotation. Let me move over here to the humanoid, a little 3 mil there. And some guilds will want you to self-buff. As you can see here, I have no debuff on. So what you can do in that instance, if that's what is required, let me go ahead and put the pets back out. Let me check on my food. Got 5 minutes left, should be plenty of time. So what I want to do here is, if you need to self-buff, go ahead and use this L1 shot clinch and just swap it out for elemental susceptibility. Again, this is just a morphed weakness to elements. The reason you want this is because over LE Drain is that it will reapply. It gives you the same debuff on the target, but it reapplies itself for the duration, so you don't have to keep reapplying it. You can focus on your damage. So there we go. I'm just going to slot that for a second. Going to apply it. There it goes. Once that's on, you can go in here and go back to your destructive clinch. I'm going to start off on my back bar. Potion, pet 1, pet 2, Atro, and here we go. Ron's trocking, so far so good. Light attacks are working. One full rotation, 1 more second. Hit 50% threshold, you cannot use pet 2 anymore. Just reverse execute. So at that point, just go into your boss spot. Go. So as you can see here, got just shy of 42k. So depending on your RNG with Zon procs, and as you get more familiar with your muscle memory and things of that nature, you should be able to hit anywhere between 41, 43, maybe 44k, and that's kind of 44k is going to be kind of pushing it, just depending on RNG with Zon procs, things of that nature. If you're running other content, some people may, let me turn these guys off, they're annoying me. Alright, there we go. If you're running other content, sometimes you may want to do change your Zon for something like Valken. Valken's pretty good, or Alambris, just whatever you want to do. The bad thing about Alambris, it does give you good, it does give you max magicka, so it helps with your magicka pool there. But when it procs, it's easily, the enemies can just walk out of it if you know that happens. With Zahn, or not with Zahn, but with Valken, you get an extra health. So if you're struggling with that, you can slot that on there. But the good thing is when that procs with the damage over time, you're going to be doing a lot of those, so it should be proccing all the time. That little comment thing that comes down is not avoidable, so it's going to home in on anything that's in its way. So anyways, those are just a couple of options there. As you can see, there's the potential. It's got 42k. That should get you basically on any trials team that you're looking to do. Maybe not good enough for a couple of prog teams. They may be wanting a little bit higher, 45, 50k or whatever, but just kind of shows you the potential. So if you guys have any questions, guildies, feel free to reach out at any time, and I'll help you with whatever I can. So anyways, hope this was helpful. You guys have a good afternoon, and I'll talk to everyone later.